no Phillies game to talk about yesterday because they are now officially on the AllStar break. They were as well yesterday, Monday. It officially started after they won that series finale against the San Diego Padres. But here we are, have only the AllStar break to talk about, nothing to talk about with an actual Phillies game. But honestly, this AllStar break has come at a very, very good time for the Phillies. They're obviously first in the National League East into this break with a 55-41 record. The Mets are right there behind them on their tails. They've been flip-flopping with them for first place all season long, but the Phillies have had some struggles as of late. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games, including 2-4 in their last 6 games. In those 2-4 or that 2-4 record, they have lost 2 consecutive series, first to the San Francisco Giants and then more recently to the San Diego Padres. The offense has been hitting some offensive lulls recently over the last few weeks. So hopefully this All-Star break has some much needed rest for those players in the lineup to get back on track, play to the level that they're capable of playing as a unit, and get into this playoff push strong coming out of the All-Star break and really just take a stranglehold of first in the division, wrap up their second consecutive division title, go into the playoffs strong as well, and try to win a World Series championship for the first time since 2008. So as I said, just hopefully this is just much needed rest for the team. Obviously the Phillies only have one All-Star representing them in the actual game this year, which is today. Kyle Schwarber is their only All-Star. Zach Wheeler is also an All-Star, but he chose not to pitch in this year's game, and he's prioritizing his rest and time with his family. Just much needed stuff coming for the Phillies right now with this couple of days off from action to regroup and get into the second half strong. Now also, the MLB Draft for 2025 did just conclude on Monday. It started Sunday with the first couple rounds. The Phillies had the 26th overall pick in the first round. Sunday, they took Arkansas starter Gage Wood. I did mention that in yesterday's video. If you watched that one, he is, famously known for his no-hitter during the College World Series that he just threw last month. It was the first no-hitter in the College World Series since 1960. He had 19 strikeouts against Murray State. He hit just one batter, which broke up what would have been a perfect game for Gage Wood in that College World Series. He started as a closer in his collegiate career, but he was moved to the starting rotation this past year, so the Phillies could use him as a reliever, which they definitely need help with moving forward in the future, or he could be in the starting rotation. But right now, the Phillies really don't need any more of that right now at the major league level. He does throw hard. He does throw strikes, so that's just a really good quality by any kind of pitcher. The Phillies not only took Gage Wood, who's a pitcher in the first round, but they took 8 pitchers with their first 8 picks of this 2025 draft. They took 14 pitchers total throughout those 20 rounds. They took 4 shortstops, 1 catcher, and 1 outfielder, so really pitcher heavy. Mostly college level prospects and college, draft picks there for the Phillies. So it's kind of interesting because there has been a lot of high school, especially in the top end of the rounds, that the Phillies have been taking recently in years prior, but a lot of college arms, a lot of just college talent with the Phillies in this 2025 MLB draft. That just means usually some of those guys could make their debuts potentially for the Phillies sooner rather than later with these younger high school kids. So maybe they're looking at some of these pitchers that they took early and often in this draft to try to come up here maybe as soon as next year even to help out this bullpen or even a back-end starter. We'll see what happens. You never know with these MLB draft prospects or how they're going to pan out at the professional baseball level in the minor leagues and obviously at the major league level. Just like somebody like Mickael. We all know Mickael. He made his major league debut this year against the Pittsburgh Pirates back in May with Aaron Nola on the injured list. He showed some really good flashes, especially in his debut. Had one other good start, and then he ran into some trouble there in his last 4 or so starts, particularly against good teams and good offenses for Mickael at the major league level. However, after the Phillies did send him back down on July 4th to AAA, he made his first start back in AAA with the Iron Pigs on July 10th and he was dominant in that start. He threw 6 innings, allowed just 1 hit, 1 walk, 0 earned runs in those 6 innings. He had 4 strikeouts in that first start back at AAA with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. And in turn, he was named the named International League Pitcher of the Month, which is one of the divisions, one of the conferences down there in AAA with the Iron Pigs. So great stuff by Mickael. He didn't really take it too, heavy going back down to AAA after having some success at the major league level and, a couple just really good starts. But overall, just great to see out of Mickael to get back down there and not just totally fall apart and pitch poorly with the Iron Pigs. He pitched really well. And he is still just 23 years old, so he's a young kid. He's got a long future ahead of him, either if that's with the Phillies organization or somewhere else, because we are getting to this July 31st trade deadline. And a guy like Mickael is one of their top prospects. He's shown he can compete at the major league level. He's shown that he's turned his season around from a pretty poor season in 2024 a year ago to a very good season so far in AAA in 2025. He's 6-2 with a 2.00 ERA. With 71 strikeouts and 11 starts in AAA this year. So just a lot of improvement by Mickael from last year. You can look up his stats last year and see for yourself how bad that went for Mickael a year ago. And obviously with this major league success that he has shown and what he can do at the big league level. Very small sample size, obviously struggled too as well, but overall, a lot of teams could be interested in a trade package for a guy like Mickael, who's still, as I said, just 23 years old and could have a very bright future at the major league level. Maybe he did increase and salvage his trade value. As I said, he's in a lot of trade rumors with the Phillies leading up to this deadline. If they're trying to go after a higher end talent, looking to bring somebody in, like a late inning, high leverage reliever closer, Mickael could be a piece to flip in return as one of the headliners of a package to get a deal done for maybe somebody like the Guardians, Emmanuel Clase, who's one of the best closers in Major League Baseball. We'll see. Few short days, few short weeks away from that trade deadline, and the rumor mill is only going to keep getting hotter and hotter around Major League Baseball and for teams looking to contend and upgrade like the Philadelphia Phillies. One name that the Phillies could look into, not necessarily somebody that's going to cost you a fortune to trade for or require a lot of prospects or whatever trade package to get, is a reliever on the Chicago White Sox by the name of Tyler Alexander. Tyler Alexander, he's a veteran. He signed with the Milwaukee Brewers back in February of 2025. Didn't work out there with them for Tyler Alexander. He was designated for assignment and then released early in June by the Brewers. Signed with the White Sox just a day or two later, and he's been with the White Sox at the major league level ever since. He has been a swingman kind of pitcher throughout his major league career. He has 56 career starts and 173 career appearances as a pitcher at the major league level. He's made 4 starts in his 30 appearances so far in 2025. So more so of a reliever, but he does have that experience as a starter. He's a veteran, as I mentioned, a 31-year-old left-handed pitcher. The Phillies don't have too many of them in the bullpen. So a guy like Tyler Alexander could be a target that's not going to break the bank for you, prospect-wise or trade value-wise. Not having a terrific season in 2025, but he's not also having a horrible season. He does have a 4.63 ERA with 1 save in 46 2/3 innings so far as a reliever in 2025. That's not including his 4 starts, those stats there. He's more of a middle relief kind of reliever, not going to be in there for the late inning high leverage situations. He has been, but he's more so pitching in the middle relief kind of innings there if a pitcher can't go deep into ball games, and that helps with his experience as a starter because he can pitch more than just 1 inning if need be, kind of like how the Phillies use Joe Ross and guys like Tanner Banks and all of them kind of middle relief, not necessarily set up late inning high leverage relievers, although Tanner Banks has been doing very good for the Phillies in the bullpen. But if you look at it as what the Phillies approached last year at the trade deadline, they traded for Tanner Banks, who wasn't somebody who was going to break the bank and require a lot of trade value in return. And then they got somebody more of a, required more trade value in Carlos Estevez. This year, a guy like Tyler Alexander could be more of that Tanner Banks type of deal, and then they can still go after somebody more dominant, more high leverage late inning kind of guy who's going to require a bigger haul in return. Tyler Alexander is going to be a free agent after this season in 2025. The White Sox are one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, one of the worst records. A lot of teams are going to be looking at their talent at the trade deadline. They're going to be sellers if teams are calling about their players. And a guy like Tyler Alexander, who's going to be a free agent, he's a veteran, aging kind of guy. Somebody that's just very expandable that a team could trade for, like the Phillies, who need bullpen help. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content every day here on Phillies Daily by yours truly. Enjoy the All-Star break. Enjoy the peacefulness of not watching Phillies baseball these next couple of days. And as always, go Phils.